You're being broadcast right now. Okay. Okay, so that says that's broadcasting. So where's the link now? Hey, how's it going, Sean? Just trying to, we're kind of soft testing our streaming thing. So I haven't done this before. We'll see. We changed it a lot. Okay. How do I screen share? There we go.
Got it?
I think so. Now I just have to figure out how to get it onto the right desktop. I need to do that.
Please hang up through that.
Yeah, so this is what I want to screen share. Maybe I put it in its own window.
No, you can if you're in here, you go into screen share. You should be able to choose like the tab. Oh, I guess you have to choose the window. Good call. You just do entire screen if it was on source. You just get
That's a good idea.
just get weird effects.
Yeah, let's do that. That's easier.
And there it is.
Nice. Okay, so that would be what we want.
Audio's good, or are you still?
Yeah, I think we're good for audio. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that for a second. Now, I just want to figure out where's the link just to test. Oh, links. Okay, YouTube page. So maybe I'll just IM that to myself or something.
Right now,
See how that works.
Sit on like this ledge, like wire. It's like right. So while
Remember it's right there.
Yeah, we're getting ready for next year. Okay. All right, well, I think I can do that. All right, I'll figure this out. Okay. All right, so I think we're set up. So when you have your laptop open, if you want to put it right here, you can talk into this and we'll hear it. So I think we're good. All right, I'm just going to grab a glass of water and then we'll get started. For anyone who came late or didn't notice if you came in there, just move over here, go ahead and help yourself. Don't feel like you have to wait. Yes.
if this is not Firebase, yeah. So the device itself has really basic Python. No. Can use websites and Firebase doesn't have client library or anything other than JavaScript. So I have the nodes that is Firebase client, and then all the reasons there's one entry in the Firebase database is types. And then I have if it's not, that means they're like maker. Yeah. And Firebase is able to use inside. So I have like the do buttons for text messages.
I actually write on server. Yeah, and it just just for customer to the.
I don't want to have to deal with. Awesome, because I need to run this workshop.
Oh, there's so much to do.
Basically, what I'm
Okay, everybody. I think we're all set up here. So if everyone's ready, we'll get started. So I'll start you off with my normal warning that I like to warn everyone before we go. This is a JavaScript meetup, so you're welcome to stay for the food, but we'll be talking about a lot of programming and about a lot of JavaScript. So you've been warned. So to begin with, we always start off with introductions, and we always have a question to go with them. So this month, our question, I said how experienced are you with JavaScript? I realized on the way over here that probably a better question would maybe be something like, how long have you been writing JavaScript? So you can choose to answer whichever one you feel is more appropriate. So why don't we start over here and we'll work our way around.
Okay, I'm Andrew with Jobber. I've been writing JavaScript heavily for a little over a year, but doing web development stuff, you always need to work with it, so I've been writing JavaScript for about 5 years.
Cool.
My name is Dustin, and I've been doing JavaScript probably heavily for about 5 years now.
My name is Ben, also with Jobber. I've been writing JavaScript for a little under 20 years, but I'm definitely still not very experienced with it.
I'm Sean. I've been using JavaScript since before there was Ajax, so for quite a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Java developer for 16 years. I started using JavaScript 5 years ago.
Cool.
I'm Abram, and I would say I use NPM not very frequently.
Okay.
I'm James. I use JavaScript with work pretty much every day.
My name is Michelle. I don't really know when I started programming JavaScript. I guess it's like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I'm Riley. I started, I think, after the first JavaScript meetup that I went to. I didn't understand anything. Probably about a year ago.
Okay, cool.
I'm Kim. I've taken a handful of JavaScript courses, but other than that, I'm a novice.
Okay.
I'm Sean. I've been using JavaScript for about 2 years now.
Cool.
Tracy, I have absolutely no experience with JavaScript.
Nice. Thank you for having us. Good.
I'm Casey. I've been doing web development for 3 years, I guess. So I've been writing bits of JavaScript all that time, but I've really only used it to do stuff beyond manipulating the DOM in the last few months.
Cool. Okay.
My name is Chris. I've been programming in JavaScript for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, maybe longer.
Cool.
Nothing too serious though.
Cool. All right, maybe we'll go back along the back wall there.
My name is Steve. I've been doing JavaScript about 5 years-ish, not the full-time thing though.
Okay.
My name is Justin. I've been playing with JavaScript for about 2 years.
My name's Steve. Less than a year, just in school and little conference.
Cool.
My name is Tyler. I'm Jobber. I've been doing JavaScript for the past few years. So.
Cool.
My name is Christian, about 4 years.
Okay.
My name is Eddie. I've been doing it shortly before jQuery was a thing.
Okay. Cool.
My name is Steven, and 2 months.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Okay.
I'm Sean. I like the other Sean over there, but I like the other Sean. I've been doing JavaScript definitely since pre-Ajax. I think .com crash a little bit, but really heavily like doing a lot of front-end application development in Node for over 6 years.
Cool.
My name is Devin. I've been learning JavaScript for the past 2 months.
Okay. Nice.
I'm JR. I'm with Create. We've been doing JavaScript for maybe 5 or 6 years. The first 2 or 3 years was probably more writing jQuery.
Nice.
I started a while ago, but then started doing it in
Cool. Great. Okay. So my name is Mark, and I have been doing JavaScript since I made the little status bar on my GeoCities website scroll, because I thought that was cool. I don't browsers even have status bars really anymore. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you to the people that are just new to JavaScript. It's awesome that you're out. Before this, I was really into Ruby, and I remember my first Ruby meetup I went to, I knew like 0, and it was so confusing. So I know how you feel. It's awesome you guys are out, and if you have any questions, don't feel, you can ask them. So. All right, so I'll put this up again later, but if you are here and you don't have Wi-Fi, there is guest Wi-Fi. The password is startup 2015 still, as far as I know. Does anyone know if that's changed?
Yeah, I'm on right now.
Is it? Okay, perfect. All right, well, I'll update the notes here after. Okay, and the next meetup is May 5th, so I'll have that again at the end too. But if you're ever curious when they are, meetup.com/startup Edmonton is the place to go to. And everything you see in hot pink is a link, so these notes will be live later. There's a link there too. So on to news. There's a couple of releases this month that were of note. Node.js had a few more releases that added more compatibility with some of the new ES6 stuff, and also had some security issues that they patched up. So those are important ones if you're using Node in production or really anywhere to go and pick up as soon as you can. And they both hit the long-term stable release as well as the late, I don't know what they call it, but the kind of bleeding edge one. Meteor had their 1.3 release. I don't know if that's their first LTS. I think 1.4 is going to be their first long-term stable one, but they're working towards that as well. Sorry, that's not Meteor, that's doing the long-term stable one. Ember is the one that has just hit the long-term stable with their 2.4. So that's a big release for them. And Grunt, I was really surprised to see, given how old it is and how long it's been out for, and just people been using in production, but Grunt just had their 1.0 release. So I found that kind of interesting, so I included it in the notes. Other releases, this one I'm going to kind of promote a little bit just because I'm friends with the guys that are doing this. They actually do the meetup down in Calgary. So FeatherJS is like a microservices kind of framework. Anyway, they just had a big 2.0 release and got a whole fancy new website and stuff. So I promised them I would mention it in the slides. So yeah, they're from Calgary. Yeah, totally. Actually, I'm thinking they might come up here soon and do a talk. So
that would be awesome. Yeah. Like I've worked with it before. I tried it out for a weekend.
Yeah, it's I've just looked at their documentation and stuff, and I talked to them about it, but it seemed really solid. Like it looked pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really impressed. Like I don't know, a lot of projects you go to use, and they have here's the source code, and they actually did a good job of having a lot of examples and kind of stuff to help you through it. Another interesting thing is Safari has released a tech preview now. So this is similar to what the other browsers do with their beta or canary channels, things like that. So it's a way that you can kind of see where Safari is headed, and hopefully it's a sign that they're going to start making more changes that people will have to care about in tech previews and things like that. So if you are supporting Safari or care about testing it, which you should, then I encourage you to download the tech preview. It's free. I don't think you even have to register now to download, which was kind of nice. Because I know in the past to get some of their stuff you had to register with an Apple ID and stuff, but did not look like it with this. Other things I remind everyone, we're going to have our election for the executive and volunteers. When I say election in the past, all we've done is basically had a show of hands to see who wants to help organize. So that's what we'll do again. And that's coming up in June. So if you're interested in helping out, we're looking for both people that will do things every month, as well as people who maybe step in and do one-off events, or help with things like the website, stuff like that. So you can join as an exec member or as a volunteer. We'll talk about that a bit more as June comes. The other thing too is I wanted to make sure to thank Jeff Marvin. Jeff Marvin has been really involved in the meetup here over the last year or so. He's actually just had to step down because they have new kids and a couple other things happening. So I think he said twins. So I thought that was pretty crazy. And so, yeah, I know. So I'm saying this and I'm thinking wow, this is really morbid. I wasn't sure if he was going to be here tonight, so I was hoping I could point at him. But yeah, anyway, so he's not dead. He did have kids, so he might disappear for a little while. But yeah, so he's stepping back from the executive, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew all the work that he'd done and that we were really thankful for it. Other things in getting ready for next year, we like to run a member survey. This is really short. I can actually show you. It's super fast. It's maybe 5 questions, including special ones like, would beer make you come to more meetups? So definitely just some kind of things that will help us figure out what to do next year and what's working and what isn't, stuff like that. So if you have the time, I'll also tweet out this link, but really anything you can tell us will be helpful in planning. So as well, we're also trying to do some changes maybe with our sponsorship over the next year. We're hoping to be able to maybe get a bit of a budget so we can do some fun things, have prizes and all sorts of other stuff that we can't do right now because it's just too much legwork. So in prep for that, we also have a sponsorship survey just to understand what our sponsors are looking for. Anyway, anyone is welcome to fill it out and give us your thoughts there. So if you're interested in sponsoring or have ideas about how sponsorship could work, we would definitely love to hear them. So extra credit, I'm not going to go through all these. They'll be in the notes, but just some interesting things that I kind of saw over the last month here people might be interested in. And with that, I would like to just ask if there's any other releases or kind of interesting stuff that I can ask.
Windows 10 with the bash shell previews.
Yeah, when it's like actually Linux, like that's the thing, is like they actually have like the kernel, don't they?
Linux kernel.
Yeah.
I use that as a bash shell and canonical is contributing a bunch of it.
Has anyone tried it? Like I saw that they actually just released a download now too, didn't they? Like so you can download it. I haven't seen anyone using it.
I have it running, it works.
Does it?
For what I've used, it works pretty well.
Does stuff like Vim and Emacs work? Because that would be a big thing for me.
Vim does for sure.
Does it? Yeah.
I don't know what Emacs.
Huh. Anyway, I'll have to check it out though.
And like basically it's been forked from their attempt to make Windows 12 support Android. So I figure a lot of like application APIs will be pretty robust, and then it's going to be like the lower level APIs that probably won't be as robust or present.
Right. Still, I don't know. Like that's pretty cool. I really like developing on the Mac because it's Unix at least. But like, there's things that are different enough from Linux. Like using Docker and stuff, I've run into lots of issues there.
Docker is a cool beta that just came out.
I know. I haven't tried it. I need to reformat my machine. It's getting kind of plugged up with all sorts of weird Docker things on it right now. So I'm just going to reformat the whole thing.
We'll do that after a couple of years.
I support that decision. All right. Any other releases or any kind of interesting stuff that people want to share over the last month?
Has anyone ever touched WebAssembly?
No.
But that's like currently trending.
Yeah. What's getting, I think, so Edge supports it, Chrome supports it, Firefox supports it. Does anyone know if Safari is talking about supporting it at all yet? I think they're the only ones that are kind of a mystery. But it seems like everyone's like putting in support for it and like has enabled it now behind flags and stuff, which is pretty cool. So I think it's going to happen. And they're saying it parses faster than ASM, which is the big thing that ASM struggles with, right? Like it's fast once it's running, but it's slow to parse because it's still JavaScript, whereas WebAssembly doesn't have that problem. So it can spin it up a lot faster apparently. I haven't tried it yet. Yeah.
Sort of like a shout out to the Safari developer preview. I've been using it for, I don't know what, since they announced it basically. And I usually hesitant to use Safari because I don't really like the development tools, but I actually found it really fast.
Okay, yeah.
And it's nice because being a developer preview has support for something like ES6 features. They have shadow DOMs forever. I don't know like their my stuff. It's actually like really if you're on the Mac anyway, it's actually a really fast, speedy environment to work in.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like nice to have.
There's just some really cool enhancements to kind of the WebKit like dev tools. They're a little bit different than what you're going to hit in Chrome, but they feel once you get used to them a little bit more unified and less scattered.
Well, maybe we'll have to have like a little developer tools showdown one day. That would be fun. Okay.
I saw a post in the Ember Slack. Apparently 2.4 isn't LTS, but it will become LTS.
Oh, weird.
I have no
Okay.
idea what the distinction is there, but one of the core developers like, it's not LTS right now. Like, we wanted to make that very clear. I think it's probably just buggy, and they kind of want to make sure it's stable before they announce it.
Yeah.
Or, make
Okay.
it official.
Well, that's good too, because I remember like reading a while ago that it was going to be, and then when they released it, they didn't say anything about it, but I thought I just missed it or something.
2.4 will be LTS. That's
okay. All right. Any other project or anyone doing any projects or anything like that they want to share? Any releases for kind of personal stuff or anything? Okay, moving on, we've got events coming up. I quickly kind of skimmed the Startup Edmonton calendar to get most of these, including apparently the Edmonton Go Meetup twice. I don't know, I'm not really sure how I did that. I must have cut and pasted the line. I'm just trying to think what I didn't put in when I did that though. Oh, you know what, the Python, Ruby, Go, there is another one that's missing here. Anyway, if anyone can like figure out what it is, I'll buy you a beer later. Demo camp is coming up again, and it is the night before our meetup next month. So if you want to go to both, get lots of sleep. Build up your sleep on the weekend so you can attend both. Angular Attack is coming up May 14th here, so pretty quickly. Is anyone planning on doing that? Do you know? Yeah, it's like a hackathon with prizes. It's basically the same people that have been doing Node Knockout and Rails Rumble have decided they're going to like take that and turn it into like a thing that they can do for other stuff. So this is their first other stuff. So I'm thinking we'll probably see more of these for different stuff in the future too. Any other events coming up? Any conferences or stuff like that people are excited about?
There's Accelerated coming up, but they're sold out.
Really?
Cascadia.js is coming up. I think they're just figuring out their speakers and ticket stuff right now.
Okay.
I don't know when it's happening, it's quite a ways in the future, but
Okay.
I've never been, but I've heard really good things about it.
That's Cascadia.js?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe we'll keep an eye on that. We should put it in the notes when it gets announced.
The Facebook developer conference, I think, is in a couple days.
Oh, right.
Every year they release, the last couple of years they've been releasing more on like the React ecosystem stuff.
Point.
So,
When I keep hearing this year that they're going to do like some platform for Messenger finally or something, like make it public or announce it or
I
something.
don't know, they've been open sourcing like new stuff all the time. I know they're WYSIWYG out there, they just open source is pretty interesting. So.
Oh, NGConf is happening early May, so look at a bunch of cool talks on for that.
Gee, I can't talk off apparently. Oh yeah, it's right away too. Okay. Well, there's 2 events that I didn't have on my calendar.
When was this Angular thing again? 14th?
That's the 14th, 15th of May.
Where is it?
Oh, it's just online. It's like an online kind of thing. It's a hackathon kind of. Okay, any other events that people want to share?
There's a SentriCon coming up in November.
Oh, okay.
So when is it, sir? November 7th to 9th.
Okay, cool.
They usually release their last year's conference videos before this, so you won't get the videos right away, but if you wait a few months, then they'll post it.
Oh, cool. Okay, good. All right. So I think that is it. Other things, jobs. Overhaul is a design company. Is anyone from Overhaul here tonight?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I didn't know that. They just sent me their job postings.
Yeah, if it's who I think they are, the
Okay.
people who just released the update or the new Baldur's Gate, and they've been doing the Baldur's Gate Enhanced editions.
Oh.
Their office is just off-white.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Meetup and the Overhaul Games is kind of mixed up, which is why I'm a little bit confused as to this. There might be another Overhaul and everything.
Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. Jobber is hiring. I don't know. Do you want to say a quick word about Jobber?
Yeah, sure. So we do software for field service companies, so businesses where their workers go to the field to do work. Primarily small businesses are who we focused on. We got an office Jasper at 105th and just over the 2 floors, so we're on the second floor right now. We're going to be expanding to that. And what we're really looking for right now in terms of developers are what we're referring to as like fishermen. So some kind of like more senior developers, but in particular senior developers who are kind of like inclined towards mentoring and developing some more junior developers. We're biased towards the junior side right now, so we're just trying to help offset that by bringing on some more senior guys. That's really what we're looking for. And like really, really desperate for good designers, UX designers, all the way, like our designers work all the way from the user experience all the way down to like CSS and JavaScript, but in general, like product designers in general, we're working really hard to try and find some good ones. We have a really strong team right now, so the bar is high. But you know anyone?
What kind of tools and stuff like that do you guys use over there?
On like the development side?
Yeah.
So for JavaScript, the main thing is Ember. We're really heavily into Ember, which our mobile apps are built on. We run a bit of Node in a few different places, mostly supporting that project. And then on our main code base is on Rails, and in there we have like jQuery mobile, and we have Backbone, and we've got Yeah, we got a lot of CoffeeScript, which is still actually pretty nice to work in. So like just a lot of different JavaScript technologies scattered through like the main application as well.
Cool. Okay. I should point out to the Jobber bought the sandwiches that everyone is eating tonight. So thank you. All right. Gratify. I think we talked about this last time. Are they still hiring? I actually don't know. I'm going to click on this link right now. I think I just left it in here from last time.
Yes, they are.
They are. Okay. Is anyone from Gratify here?
No, we're supposed to.
Okay. So they're definitely still hiring. Okay. Perfect. Well, I don't know. Can you say anything about like what Gratify does? Really? Can you explain that at all? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of the e-commerce thing. I have a lot of data scientists. They're hiring for all different roles. It's posted on their site. They're trying to grow too. I think they keep sort of outgrowing their space. They're a Rails shop with JavaScript at the front end.
Okay.
I don't know what else. Probably people know this already.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there too. I'm sorry. No, it's good. So Shobi, I believe, is still hiring. Cleo?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Cleo at all?
We're
Or?
looking for, at the moment, a more senior JavaScript developer. We say senior, but it's kind of more just someone who can kind of like, and then she kind of come in and help mentor some of the junior JS people as well. Cleo does software for lawyers, so lawyers have lots going on with their practices, like matters, documents, billing, and all that. And we just try to make their whole life easier around that.
Okay. And is that here in Edmonton or is it in Vancouver?
It's Alberta, BC.
Western Canada.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if Saskatchewan counts.
Okay. All right. So on that note, I'm going to stop talking and let someone else do some speaking here. So up first, we have Eddie, who's going to be talking about prototypes. And I won't say too much more because I don't want to steal your thunder. So without further ado, there you go.
All right, prototypes. So this is like probably one of the most, maybe intimidating and most like unique things about JavaScript, but it's like secretly there, seething under the surface everywhere. So let's talk about it. So first of all, just really basic, right? I want to talk about JavaScript objects, you know, those things with the curly braces, those little things, right? I just want to get some like terminology cleared up here. So for objects, you have properties, right? So this object has 3 properties. You know, it's describing my ferret named Ron Weasley, which I don't have a ferret, but if I did, it'd definitely be named Ron Weasley. And, you know, it lists about, and so every property is like a string, which is the name, and then value, which can be like whatever, a string, an int, a bool, anything, right? Including another object. So properties. And you can add properties simply by either like creating that thing at the top, which is called the object literal, and just like putting it there by default. Or you could do, you know, once you have a reference to an object, you can be like my object dot, and then whatever name of the property you want equals, and then any value you want, right? So you know, if we execute all of this code and then, you know, look at what the value is, we'll be like, here's your object with all of these properties and all of their values. So, okay. Accessing properties, individual properties, you could either use this weird notation with the square brackets and the string, explicitly a string, or if it's like a variable-ish name, you could just do that instead. They are both exactly equivalent, right? So getting my ferret name is Ron Weasley, getting my ferret dot name is the same thing, right? Accessing properties. So the other thing, right? Earlier I said properties, their values can be anything. That includes functions. So right here I'm adding this function, and I'm going to call it toString, and I'm going to add it, and all it's going to do is it's going to refer to the same object by this, and it's going to get its name property. So when I do this, it'll say, my name is Ron Weasley. And once again, right, exactly equivalent over here with this other syntax. Okay. So I created a new object over here, unrelated to Ron Weasley. It's ferret faucet. And it has like the same property values, except I didn't add that toString function earlier, right? But if I execute it, like it still does a thing. it still does something, right? It doesn't give me like some weird, oh, toString is undefined error, right? And like if you did the stringify, it would just show you these properties that you see on the screen. It's not showing you this extra toString function. So like, where did that come from? Where did that other toString come from? And the answer lies in prototypes, which allow you to share properties among a bunch of different objects, right? So a prototype is simply, all right, I stole this diagram from the ECMAScript standard, and I guess it made sense. But a prototype is simply just an object. It has properties, right? And then when you try to access a property from your object, And you can't find it here. So if, you know, for Ron Weasley or Ferret Faucet, you know, you try to access toString. It doesn't exist here. So it goes up the prototype chain to the most recent prototype and finds it there. And it accesses this, right? And you can actually have an arbitrary amount of things in this chain, but I'll get to that later. So in the case from before, toString, which belonged to this guy, this object. This JavaScript is like, oh, Ferret Faucet, do you have toString? And it's like, no, but I have a prototype. So it called up and found here in toString. And that's how you're able to access that function. So let me actually backtrack a bit. By default, all JavaScript objects, their default prototype is the one that's simply called object.prototype. So object is like this global object, this global that you can access all the time. And then its prototype is actually what you're accessing. But everything is like implicitly accessing unless you like actively try not to. So yeah, it's shared with everything by default. And you probably don't want to share, you know, a bunch of random things on this thing, right? So, because it's just a normal object, right? I'm missing a slide. Anyway, so it's just a normal object you can add to it and append to it, but you probably don't want to touch it because if you add something to this object, it will be shared with every JavaScript object. So what if I only want to share my properties with just my ferrets, right? I just want the ferrets to share some properties. And that's where constructors come in. And constructors are just a regular old function, right? There's actually nothing to it more than it's just a function. But the way that you use it is differently. You have to say new and then the function's name. And I'll like show you examples of this. And what you can do in the constructor, since it's a function, you can refer to the object you're creating with this and just set properties. You may want to like compute properties or do, you know, whatever you need to do to set up these objects in like a consistent manner. And most importantly, constructors, again, just functions, implicitly create a new property or a new prototype. So let me kind of show you an example of this. So once again, just a normal function right here. But it refers to this, which is like the new object that it's creating. So when you say new ferret, it will refer to that new object with this. So you can set name, its body length, and all of these are like defaults. About that going on. And then I can create new ferret objects as new ferret. And if I try to stringify as I did before, it kind of comes up with the same thing as before. There's like not really much different from like a regular old object, right? It's just the same thing. And yeah, it's just once again the same object. I just turned it into JSON. But, right, you got the prototype. So it's ferret.prototype. But it was a constructor from before. It's prototype property. It's just an average, it's just an ordinary object. And by default, it starts out empty. And I might get into that later. It starts out empty, right? So you can just add things arbitrarily to this object, and they will be shared with all, in this case, all of your ferrets. And like, if you're actually using constructors, you'll probably like make more useful things than ferrets, unless you're making a ferret simulator game, which I strongly encourage you to do. So, oh goodness. Okay, so I have this like bit of code over here. So you can get the actual prototype of any object using object.getPrototype of, right? So I'm like asking, oh, hey, ferret.prototype, what is your is it the same as the prototype of just any ordinary object? This might be a little bit confusing. But basically, that ferret.prototype is an object, and its prototype is the general object prototype. I'll show a diagram later. But okay, so so most often what we do with prototypes is share functions, and when we share functions, we call those methods, right? Because they tend to act on whatever they're being shared with. So in this case, right, I have a method toString for ferrets and a method showCuteness for ferrets that are shared with all ferrets because they are on ferret.prototype. They're assigned to this object, right? So interestingly enough, I created like Ron Weasley before I assigned all of these guys to the prototype. And that's okay. You can totally go into a prototype and add things to it at any time. And then once you add to them, you can use any of the properties that you shared with it. So I can do toString, and it will say, my name is Ron Weasley. And I can use also showCuteness. And it says, Ron Weasley is super cute. So this is the updated diagram from before. And these ferrets point to like the prototype chain, like what they follow to find object. Yeah. So as before, right, we have the same objects that just have properties, names, species, etc. Right? All of those, like it's just the ordinary properties that we would have ordinarily. But instead of their prototype directly pointing to objects, the one that's shared among everything, they're pointing to this new ferret prototype, which came from the ferret constructor. So they get to so anything that is added to this object is shared with all ferrets that you may create using new ferrets. So, and you see, since this is just an ordinary object, it inherits the object prototype. So right here, this toString shadows or obscures the toString object. So whenever you access toString in Weasley, it'll fail to find it here. It'll find toString here. If you try to find value of, however, it will go all the way up the prototype chain because it can't find it in this one. It has to find it in this one. So that's pretty much it for prototypes for now. But I just want to say, like, methods in JavaScript, like they don't really belong to any object. You say this dot, you know, like from before, you would do something like my ferret dot string, but it doesn't really belong to the ferret object, right? It doesn't care. It's just a function. It's just an ordinary function. So what you can do is just, okay, my ferret has a showCuteness function. I'm just going to steal it and yank it from my completely unrelated object over here, which represents. Does anybody play Neko Atsume? No. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so I was just able to steal this function, which used to belong to all the ferrets, but now belongs to my bourgeoisie scum object over here. That's a fat cat who comes and eats all your food. Like, he just like comes arbitrarily and just eats all your cat food. It's terrible. And yeah, tubs could be cuter. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. There are some like other things, more advanced things, like prototypical inheritance and object-defined property, enumerable properties, accessor descriptors, all this kind of stuff, but that's kind of like more advanced, and I'm not going to cover it right now. But if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Yeah?
I was curious, are there any good developer tools for seeing that type of hierarchy, the way that you...
The way that I did it? No. Like, I don't know. Probably. Like, I don't know. Let's do this. I actually, like, let's do f equals that. I know that in Chrome, right, in your dev tools, you can see the prototype object here, right? So if I click here, oh, that's weird. Oh, why are you, oh, okay, no, never mind. This is the ferret prototype, right? So if you like click on these like little disclosure buttons, and then there's like the thing always at the bottom that says __ proto. That's the prototype, but it's secret. You shouldn't touch it, but whatever. If we go into it, it actually says, oh yeah, here's show cuteness, and here's toString. And then if you go even further, right? So this is the general object prototype that exists for like all other JavaScript objects. So you can get to it in Chrome, but I don't like in terms of the diagram like that.
Oh, well, no, this is good now.
This is good. Okay. Yeah.
I wanted, I was just curious if you could easily see that sort of.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see, there's like value of toString and all these other things. Yeah.
You can also like refer to a value like, like f dot.
Yeah, you can do like f dot proto.
Or just, isn't it just prototype?
No, it's not just prototype. No, that belongs to the constructor. Yeah. So back from that diagram, it's kind of confusing because yeah.
I know one other thing that really threw me off when I was first trying to get my head around prototypes, because they are weird in JavaScript.
Yeah.
Was that there was also the constructor property, which was like something. Can you explain that? Because that's the other thing that you see all over.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of like glossed over this. So when I do Barrett.prototype, can everybody see this, by the way? Yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, look, it's an empty object. No, it's not. There's like this hidden property. There's like this hidden property that refers back to, so if I do Barrett equals Barrett.prototype dot constructor, right? It refers back to the same object, right? And you can use that fact to do like inheritance, but I've rarely ever come across a point where I really want to use prototype inheritance, except for like React, but you're probably using ES6, so it's just extends. Whatever, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, so it has, so in JavaScript, you can have like hidden properties, and that's when you get into this, well, let me get rid of this enumerable property things, right? All properties that are enumerable are like directly visible, and then the ones that are non-enumerable are like hidden. So it's a weird thing. I don't know.
Have you ever used IO? It's like another language. It's like one of the hardest languages to Google for. It's like Googling for Go.
Yeah.
But it's called IO, and it's weird, but until I programmed in that, I don't think I ever really understood JavaScript prototypical inheritance.
Yeah.
Because it's basically all you have for doing like new objects and inheritance is prototype in IO, and it's really clear who their prototypes are, as opposed to like, I've always found the actual syntax and stuff like that of JavaScript. It's almost like going out of its way to hide the prototypes. It's hard to see and work with.
No, definitely. I agree with you. It is kind of like, oh, they exist here. They're like lurking in the background. But yeah, it's like not until like ES6, which I like deliberately decided to not mention in these slides, right? But not until like ES6, like could you actually like use inheritance in a straightforward manner? Yeah.
So the prototype of a constructor is just an object, right?
Yeah, the prototype property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, is it possible to create like a cyclic loop of prototypes?
Is it possible to create a loop? No, because you follow up the chain and you eventually get to null. It's like a linked list.
But if you assigned.
Although you can have a site, ooh, maybe. Yeah, you have to go out of your way to do it. But if you, like, no, because by default, right, if you link up to object.prototype, that's object.prototype's prototype is null, right? It ends there.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, like, can you assign
You can do that.
Change that reference to your image.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if an existing object that already referred to the existing prototype, if you reassign it to Barrett, like if you made the reference in Barrett to a new object, would it replace the existing references or preserve them?
You don't want it circular because it'll never stop looking for.
Right. Yeah. It sounds like a really bad idea.
I have not tried it. I will definitely try it though. Okay. For all the novices out here that like you're just hearing about prototypes for the first time, don't like just plug your ears.
I just want to like negate something you said.
Yeah.
Don't click on this proto button in like to dig down to see what
It's like,
but if you actually are trying to find like where something's coming from, it's really valuable. So I would say like if you're aware of what a prototype is, which you now are after having given this nice introduction. It is often very handy to actually see like, especially if you're using a third-party library, like where something is coming from. It gives you a way from any object to actually really see the history of like what is built up, whatever you're working on. And same with the constructor, actually, sometimes just, if you don't mind going like f.constructor.
Yeah.
Because it'll actually show you the function that made whatever it is you're looking at. Sometimes if you're trying to like figure out what that function is in your code, it can be really valuable. And some of the tools actually like, you can click that function now and it'll take you to the code. But
oh, yeah.
so,
boom. Yeah, Chrome Dev Tools. Extra pro tip.
Now I know what like created the object.
Yeah.
What is there any project that Proto doesn't show up in? Like, cause it's not part of. I just checked it. It isn't part of the spec. But like, I know it's in like Firefox, Chrome, Safari, IE.
The underscore prototype thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not in the ES5 spec.
Oh, is it in the 6 one?
It's in 6. Because no, that's why I was like, oh, don't go through it, because technically it wasn't standardized until 6. Like, but all the browsers and their implementation of JavaScript usually had this thing. I think it's because
They wanted you to use object.prototype of.
That prototype of? Yeah.
Yeah, they wanted you to make that class method call all the time, which is annoying. This is already underscore proto.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that also.
Sorry, do you mind showing that? So, because like those who've never used object.prototype
Yeah.
or I guess you had this slide.
Object dot, get prototype type, right? Yeah, of F. So it's not very useful, right? But like if you actually look at it, it has show cuteness and toString. Yeah. Any other questions? Novices feel like free.
So the prototype, it just calls functions, it doesn't call fields?
You can, so most often what you're gonna do is hold functions, right? Which then become methods because you use them on an object. But you can hold fields if you want to. Like you can hold anything there. And they'll be accessible, like if I do ferret.prototype dot. Oh, okay, for sure. Maybe I should just clear this.
That little thing, yeah, you can clear it.
Yeah, okay, straight. So, I don't know. Dot age, right? Something like that. And I go 40, I don't know. I'm just typing things. But now, like if I do f.age, it's 45, right? And if I do, so let's do Ron equals Barrett, Ron, whatever. Okay, so if I do Ron.age, right, it's 45. So by being on the prototype chain, right, that field, that just normal field, age, is shared with everything. But I can still go like Ron.age equals 56 or whatever, right? And like if I look at it now, right, it's there, and I do Ron.age.
Well, how come when you did object.prototype of, it just showed like a constructor and like show cuteness didn't have like age and like cute and like all those values?
When I did, let me know if it gets off the screen. Or was it?
Ferret, the f-ferret is an object, and the prototype is another object, but it wasn't the instance of the ferret.
Mm-hmm.
So he made a ferret, I guess, like Ron's an instance, and it has a prototype that references ferret. So when you ask for the prototype, it's not the actual instance. It's kind of like the class.
It's not really the class. Yeah.
Well, the weird thing with prototype is like as you're working on your application, if you have a bunch of things that you've made without prototype, but then you go and change the prototype later, all of the things that you've already made will get the changes. It's sort of like you can update it at Hive and everything will change.
Yeah.
You can if you want, like, add things to string and then all your strings will get them. It's not necessarily the best idea, but you can do it.
Left pad, yeah, you can add left pad to it.
A good example, because you have two ferrets character, and I mean, Ron, and you have, I think, just
F,
is your
yeah.
character. So if you go f.age, it's still 45.
Yeah, f.age is still 45, because, like, I wonder if I can, no, it's probably going to be really awkward to see right there. Yeah, you can barely see that. But, right, in Ron's case, it accesses directly from the object, right? But in F, the creatively titled F, it has to like go up the prototype chain to find it in, you know, the ferret.prototype that is shared with all ferrets. So you can overwrite it in like closer down to the prototype.
Right. Because it looks on like the objects for like age.
Yeah, yeah.
If it doesn't find it, it goes to the prototype and it keeps going up.
Yeah, yeah.
What happens if it doesn't find it?
Yeah, whoops. Oh, geez. Oh, do you have Vimian?
Oh, I might, yeah.
Or, oh no, what have I done? No! Nice. Yeah! Let's just refresh it, you guys. What did I do?
Is there Wi-Fi on it or something?
No. I don't even know. Oh! That gives me Vimian.
You can disable, if you go up and just disable for Vimian.
Nah, it's fine. It's all good. I got it back. Woot. Yeah.
So I was just wondering, like,
Yeah.
There's an interesting difference between it's like using a constructor to set defaults versus using a prototype to set defaults. And the interesting functional difference there is that the constructor, if you modify it later, any instances aren't going to change.
Yeah.
Whereas like using the prototype, if you modify the default later, then all the instances will change. I'm just like curious, is that actually a pattern that's used? Like it's like two different approaches to dealing with defaults because of the function.
I personally have not done that. I realize that it is kind of like a thing you could do. I don't know, to me it seems like a little bit like kind of clever. that may be a good thing, that may be a bad thing. But I don't know. Yeah, like in general, mostly what you put on prototypes are like functions. Yeah.
But defaults are good. Like, I was going to bring up the example of that. Defaults are kind of the next most common use case.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you do defaults like that?
Once in a while, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think the important thing here, I guess, is that the prototype is just an object. Like, it's not really anything special. It's just an object like any other. It's not a magic kind of prototype that's something different. So anything you can set on a neural object, like whether it's a function or a value, you can set on the prototype.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you change the prototype later?
Yes.
Like if you had two different ones, you could switch between them and
Yeah, you can like set the, like you can assign to proto, I'm pretty sure. Like just, or not. Oh, F is undefined. Well, let's just do var F equals new ferret. And his name is F. It's good. It's good. Yeah, I think you can totally do that, and then show cuteness doesn't even autocomplete because it doesn't exist because F's prototype is different now. So if we like look at F, yeah, it totally changed. You can do that. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. It's probably not like a terribly fantastic idea to do that, but you can. Yeah.
So I thought the ferret constructor took like two arguments, but there you just have one. So
Yeah.
it returns undefined, and then you say the prototype of undefined.
Oh.
The object, or like,
Oh.
but it still seems to work out in the end.
Yeah, okay. That's because I was lazy and because no arguments in JavaScript are required ever. Like you can name your function, you can put like a list of parameters there, and you don't technically. It's not like say Python where it's like, oh, you didn't call me with enough arguments. No, you can just call it however many you want. And the rest, all of the rest, right, that you did not specifically type in, get assigned undefined.
You can also call it like 50. You can also call it a whole bunch of arguments.
Yeah, you can also call it with more arguments.
So let's say body length is undefined there, because it was undefined in the constructor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Would you typically like check, would you like guard your constructors in? Like if like this value's null, then assign something so you don't get undefined.
It's usually a bad idea.
It's usually a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Oh, not a bad idea. Yeah. For example, like I throw in a bunch of like console.asserts to be like, like really I should be using something like TypeScript or something. but like usually I'm like assert that this argument is, you know, this type or whatever, right? Like I sometimes do that.
You're using like a jQuery or a library that knows it's in the docs, like accepts sort of an optional amount of arguments. It's sort of like you just have, I don't know, string and a function, or maybe something with a string with a configuration and then your function as your third argument, and it's sort of the number of arguments you can arbitrarily change. It's typically the trick that they're using. It's like they just kind of like reassign like the second argument to be the third argument.
I remember to that someone like the UI router, like it has some weird docs and some really weird notation that like for optional arguments or something, and yeah, it threw me off for about
Yeah, and the other thing, like pro tip, you know, just bonus pro tip, is any function, if you do the dot length of it, it tells you how many arguments are like explicitly like required by the function definition, right? So here it says ferret dot length is 2. That's because, yeah, the function has 2 arguments right here. Yeah.
Awesome. Was there anything else that you can think of people should know about prototypes?
Like immediately?
Yeah,
not really. I was like, I mostly wanted to like open it up to questions because I know this topic can be like a little bit intimidating, right? But do you?
So if you want to store a state, so say you have like a ferret counter.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that with the prototype, you shouldn't do it. Is it asynchronous, or is that like,
asynchronous?
Like, if you have 2 ferrets created at the same time, does it like race? Like, who would increment the count of ferrets first?
Okay, like you can't really like there are no like unless you're. Yeah, it's single-threaded. JavaScript is just like single-threaded. There's like nothing you can. So like when you have multiple things at the same time, really what's happening is like one string of execution just kind of like gave up and was like, okay, like go back to the event loop, and then the event loop goes and takes it up and starts the other asynchronous task, right? And that's why you have so many callbacks going around because you're never like modifying mutable state. What you're really doing is like hopping back and forth through the event loop. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, it's kind of nice because you're not dealing with threads.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's also kind of weird.
Okay, are you coming down for drinks there, do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could.
Well, maybe we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
If there's other questions, you can buy any beer there or non-alcoholic beverages or drinks.
Yeah.
We could do that. Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Slides are. All right. So thank you very much to Eddie. Up next, we have Michelle talking about Ionic 2, and just give us a second here to work out the technical details. So I think I can just switch you. Okay. Do this. Remember, that's your webcam. Then you can share your screen.
And easy to say share there as well, actually, you know what? I don't see it anyway, so yeah, so we're seeing your screen right now. So if you switch to your presentation, that's what this is basically what they're seeing. Oh, here, you know what? Unplug in your video. If you think unplugging the video will throw off.
It should just switch to another monitor. So I have no idea what I think.
We're gonna try it. This is a soft launch. Okay, I'm gonna plug into your video, and then right now see how it has all the controls. I can plug into your video, and then we'll see that up on the screen. I'm just curious to see what it doesn't hang out. This way it says on. There. So I'm gonna plug that. So now I plug in here.
Yeah, like, I don't know if we have to wait. So like these guys will be on.
No, so you can work on this one. I think we have to turn the sharing back on.
Yeah, you do more creative things.
There you go. Yeah, but now you don't have all the extra stuff.
All right. First of all,
It's like a lot of work.
okay. So first of all, I think select link.
Okay, let's go through our sound.
The echo's just in your head now.
Okay. Echo? I still hear an echo too. I don't know. Does anyone have the Hangout open? Or the YouTube video? I haven't shared the link, but I don't know where it is. Hello. Okay, well maybe just step back on that, I guess.
Oh my god. Okay. Just to add to the talk before, I'm following a guy called.
Is it coming to these?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, we don't need to switch to HDMI audio?
Maybe.
I bet you that's good.
Oh, that's coming from the.
Yeah, I think so. Oh. Where's the sound?
Oh.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's really nice because audio is actually synced with the video.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just to add to the previous talk, JavaScript, and as Ben said, JavaScript, you can program in JavaScript for a long time, you still don't know it. And I'm following a guy called Kyle Simpson, also called Gratify, and he's arguing that prototypical inheritance is not the right way to go. He has his own method to do that, and it's called ODO, and he calls it object linked to other objects. And I think it's not my task to explain that because I don't really know what he's doing. But I know that he's arguing that prototypical inheritance is not the right way to go. Anyway, so if you want to know more about prototypes, then that might be the right guy to go to. And he said his name or his book's called "You Don't Know JS." So anyway, yeah, he makes a living off explaining prototypes to other people. Yeah, so I'm also actually ill prepared. I have to admit. I thought this month, like my name is Michel Hashak, and I'm a freelancer. And I thought this month is going to be like a little less work. But I was actually wrong. And I get a lot of Meteor requests right now, which is nice, but still I couldn't do any Ionic work because most of my work is in React. Most front-end work is React. And still, I wanted to pick it up, and then I got a little confused when you wrote this message on Twitter, like, fuck, I still have to do it. Anyway, so I picked up Ionic a long time ago, like, I think 1.5 years ago. I was looking at Angular a couple of years ago, and I think Angular is like built in 2009. And ever since then, people have argued that Angular might not be the best front-end framework. It got a lot better, and I think I wanted to do a short recap on how what I developed looked like in the past to what I do right now. Can anybody read that?
Yeah.
So this is, I don't really know Angular 2009. I only know Angular, I think, like 2 years back. And this is what it looked like. I had my module. I had a factory service that pulled something from anywhere, through a REST service. And I had a controller. So I had a template and a controller, and I was usually including my controller into my template, and that template, like my controller was valid within the scope of the diff where this controller was specified. And then that red inject as I wrote that in TypeScript and I didn't have the right definitions. So then John Papa came along and told everybody how to improve on the regular Angular code right now. And John Papa, like I followed him and I thought it was a great way, but still looked like spaghetti code. But anyway, he explained how to do it better. And he also has this, like when you follow this link here, you also get to his GitHub account where he explains best practice for Angular 2 now, Ionic 2 for Angular 2. And like I read through it and it's pretty well defined. So going back to directives and components in 105, like 1.5 Angular. Ionic never supported 1.5, but I tried it out and I thought, well, components are nice and they look like directives, so I can probably just switch over from directives to components. It didn't work out in Ionic, so I had to go the Ionic 2 route, which went then, oh well, this is still Angular 2. We had a directive, we had a scope, we had a controller, a template assigned to it. By the way, I never assign my template within a JavaScript file. I usually have a link to a template, an HTML template.
Can you just explain, there you have the two things, like component and view on the right-hand side. Can you just explain what those are? Because those are like an ES7 feature, maybe?
Okay, a component is, from what I understand, a component is actually just a controller. And it's fine, like this controller gets the function, like my confirmation, and it only just instantiates a new function, which will become a new element. That's what component does. And view is it's actually just a template that binds to the component. So this is the only way to bind in Angular 2 and Ionic 2 or Angular 2. That's the only way to bind a component like an JS file to an HTML file, because there are no NG controllers anymore. So then this is where we're at right now. This little piece on the left-hand side, this one here, this piece is Angular 2. This is the directive, or that's the component it generates. And on the right-hand side, that's Ionic. Can anybody hang on? Can anybody see what Ionic does better than Angular 2? Actually, Ionic follows best practices when it comes to writing code with Angular 2, which Angular 2 doesn't follow. Does anybody see what Ionic does better than Angular? One of the best practices is to have only one controller per view. What Angular 2 does, you can still specify more than one controller for one view. What Ionic 2 does is they only have one controller per view. And that's specified with the page component, which is actually just a component and a view. Because it's the component itself is page within page. It's called from page. And it has the template URL. And you can only specify one controller per view or web view. And that's how it looks like.
So that would be like a page graph, kind of?
It's just a web view, yeah. Just a regular content. Okay. Maybe I should have. Has anyone ever touched Ionic? Like who here has?
I use that.
Okay, so sorry. Ionic is a front-end framework to build mobile applications. And you write your code once, and then through Cordova or through like a build method, you build for iOS, you build for Android, now Windows Phone, and I think these are the three.
That's only three.
Yeah.
Windows just added.
Yeah, they just. I've not seen it yet for Windows. Oh no, I have seen it on their documentation. So you can basically write your code in JavaScript, and if you need additional help through like Cordova plugins, you can actually tap into your operating system and work with the camera, the sensors, and stuff. It might not be the best route to go, but in my opinion, for minimum viable products, Ionic is probably the best idea because it's fast, and actually it has improved by a lot. This app took me half a day. This is not, you don't put enough thought into it. It's just, okay, I have free views, I have a controller to these views, I have like a little bit of functionality to these views, and maybe I'll do a call, a REST call somewhere, and then maybe I have a service somewhere laying around that I can just paste in and use. And it's, what Ionic 2 does right now is, and I can show that here. This is, when you call Ionic serve, it spins up like 2 instances for Ionic, for iOS and for Android in this case. The Windows Phone is missing. And I haven't done anything to make Android look like Android or iOS look like iOS. So back in the days with Ionic, you had to specify the style. You had to figure out, okay, what operating system am I running on right now? And I want to use these Ionicons. Right now, you specify your Ionicon once, and then Ionic 2 does all the work for you. It's even easier. So now it's just front-end framework, you plug and play with all your components, and you only care about the business logic. It's really easy. And even like the search, I wanted to implement that search actually, but I couldn't do it. If you go to the task over here, this is how it looks like with the material design. Right a little bit, and you get an X. And this is what it looks like when you write it on iOS, and it's basically really, it looks like native almost.
And is it hard, like when you reach a point where maybe you have more of your own kind of branding and stuff that you want to brand it a bit more? Can you do that, or do you kind of stuck with the platform?
No. You can brand everything with like CSS, SAS.
Yeah.
SAS.
Change your style.
Yeah, and it's very easy. Like for every single component that we come to right now. I have 2 open. Oh god, this is edit. Never mind. This I took from a website. This picture, that guy is like Josh Maroney, and I think he was one of the first ones to pick up Ionic, and he explained well what the difference is between old Ionic and new Ionic. New Ionic has an app structure that's functional based. Old Ionic had a structure that was only file based. The new function, I mean, everybody who's written like large base apps knows that you're in teams that care about functions, right? So it's fairly contained everything. That's the best practice they inherited. However, this is outdated, this view, because you don't write your code in here. This is just a representation of what it was bundled to. You actually write your app in a folder called app. And this is up here. So you specify like your home screen, your login screen, and tasks. Right, so structure. Okay, when you go deeper under the hood, you notice that index.html changed a little bit, except for Firebase. This is not important right now. There used to be a tag ng app, which is not there anymore. Now they're using a component to put that in. And Cordova and the bundles used to be up here. I think there was just a method to load it faster, I think. in my opinion. That's the only thing that changed. And then, oh yeah, right here. If you bundle your app, the process will configure your app, like will take on the CSS for each individual phone. So like iOS, this is Android, and this is Windows Phone here. So it will take, these are all done by Ionic, and it will look like your native phone.
And they use material design?
They use material design right now for Android.
I was just wondering, it says iOS and the next one, Android MD, but.
MD, I don't know why MD.
Perfect, it's material design. Yeah, MD with material design.
Okay, so this is your entry point. It looks a lot cleaner now. It used to look like a lot of spaghetti code, but now it looks a lot cleaner. You have your app component that gets loaded first. It loads all your providers that you have. Like in this case, it's a Firebase provider, default like Firebase providers, the default Firebase, and I used to have another one right here. It's like a authentication service, which I don't have right here, but it doesn't matter. So this is how you configure your app. Back in the days, you used Ionic config provider, and that you had to do this for every single operating system. So you also had to say, okay, I want my tabs for Android, not where they used to be. There used to be on the top, like close to the header. I want them like on my iOS phone. I want them at the bottom. So you had to display that, or you had to write platform Android, and then I think I don't know what it was called anymore. Touched it in a while. Anyway, so this used to be a lot not harder, but it looked a lot uglier. For now, where is it again? For now, it's only this app. So you can have, I think they call it pipes. I call it filters. They have pipes are basically also just functionality that you take in arguments, you do something with these arguments, and then you spit them out again for arrays, for example, or for objects if you want to filter through them and display them, render them. Okay, so and another difference for Ionic 2 is, for example, you don't have a router anymore. There's no router and no routes. It is a lot like an array. You push in the pages and you stack them. So you have like a whole history of all your views or your pages. They get only called once. So if you want your cache to be deleted, you have to specify that. But they get only called once. And then you can say pop if you want to go back, and you go back to your previous view. So you can preserve your state, which is fine. However, for logins or for any sort of a redirection where you don't want to go back, you have to specify set this as root. And I have an example for that, which is simple. I still hope my app works because I worked on it before I came here. Just a login. Okay, login. Go. So here, usually you have your back button. I specified in my app that did I specify anything? All right, hang on. Oh, there you go. Yeah, I set it as root. Now, let's just reload that or refresh it. Yeah, that's all just TypeScript down here. Just so many definition problems. Okay, Okay, now if I go on login again, and I will be redirected to my tasks page. But what I don't want is an arrow back, but I will get an arrow back because I only push it to the stack. So there you go. I don't want to go back actually, right? So if I'm authenticated, I don't want to go back. So this is why you use root, set as root.
Yeah, I feel this one is much better. Yeah.
This one is a lot better.
Yeah, I only want to use the UI router, and it didn't work with the mobile app very well because it's based on the URL. So UI router is all based on state machine and actual URL. But in the mobile app, there's no such thing. The only thing actually is a screen or page, different screen. Then this is using page annotation.
Yeah, and you don't have any,
better, yeah.
You also don't have any routes anymore. So it used to have like whatever route you were exposing, but now it's only one route, an array stack, and if you want to transfer data from one view to another, you specify this within your push. So you have like your push statement, and then you just specify whatever object you want to be pushed. Equals data, whatever. That's how you push your data from one view to another.
I think we still have the physical back button issue, right?
The
physical back button, you click the physical back button, it's still like messed up with the page stack. I think there's still a bug there.
I don't know if they still have it because I haven't used it, but I know what you're talking about. So whenever you have to go to scope and root, or this is all spaghetti code, by the way, but it's also maybe lack of my knowledge. Where's this scope? Oh, app here. So this is where I exit this app.
Can you zoom in a little?
Yeah, it's even too small for me. Getting bigger. Oh shit. Anyway, so here there's 3 lines of code. That's the history. This is what you were talking about, right? You were talking about the history. So whenever you change or redirect it to a different page.
Talking about like in Android phone, you have a physical back button. You click that, they mess up with the navigation. Yeah. So somebody reported as a bug, and they said they will fix. But I'm not sure it already fixed or not.
Okay.
So can I just ask, like, I'm just trying to understand the relationship between Angular 2 and Ionic. Like, is their Angular 2, is it the kind of something that's used by Ionic, and Ionic adds things on top of it? Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the underlying technology for Ionic.
So actually using Ionic 2, actually you found out big changes Angular 2.
Oh.
The code is totally changed because of Angular 2.
Yeah. Which is good because now it's manageable now.
Yeah.
So I guess another question I have is like looking at other alternatives to Ionic. Like, why would you use Ionic versus something like React Native? What would be?
Wrong person. I've never touched React Native. No.
There's another one called Native Script. Also use Angular 2. I haven't tried, but somebody said it's good. They're using JavaScript to build UI, so it's a little bit different. In Ionic 2, they use the HTML, CSS to build UI. So it looks the same code base for different platforms. So you see the Ionic 2 make this material design CSS and iOS CSS and Windows Phone CSS. So it looks different, but your code base is exactly the same. But for native script, you have to build the UI for specific platform using JavaScript. So your code base will be like 3 different branches.
So in Ionic, it's actually like a web view then?
Yes.
Where styling things look native, whereas like native script and React Native would be native widgets, but then you can't use them.
I think React Native also using JavaScript to build the UI by using Reactive React.js, yeah. So I haven't tried that yet, but I
React
think
Native also only gives you like Angular, so it's like React, right? So like Angular is going to give you a fuller application stack. ADF React Native.
You're also going to have to write a lot more code for React Native because you actually have to implement all the low-level components that some of the high-level stuff you might be able to reuse, but from what I understand, it's like,
is it not
basically, so you write stuff in the same way, but you have to rewrite it. Right. Yeah. Whereas, yes.
You don't have to throw up plugins or stuff? Or what do you use? Like all these plugins you have to write yourself.
I think they have a lot of plugins still. It's just you're not writing JavaScript and then embedding it in a web view. It is actually native. Like it's not simulating native, it's really native.
It's a bridge to the native objectives.
Okay. So all I heard was that like one guy compared both. He wrote the same app in React Native and Ionic, and he said for runtime or when it was actually running in memory, Ionic was worse than React Native, but React Native was larger, like 80 megabytes per app, versus Ionic, which was like below 50. But I mean, it's more important to have like low memory.
React's philosophy is the learn once, write everywhere, versus like write once, run everywhere. So yeah, so like what you're saying sounds probably accurate, where it's like you're writing the same technology, but you're writing for each platform, versus like Angular. I mean, Ionic with the idea of like you write one app and then run it across.
Well, I don't think Ionic should be run by larger corporations anyway. Like you should just use it as an MVP, and then.
I think you kind of are using a web view that kind of emulates native. You're never going to hit the native feel quite right. Like you're never the gestures are not going to quite come through.
Yeah, not quite. I know. Yeah, that's the.
It looks a lot better than having if you use just a regular web page.
Yeah.
And you route to that, it's a lot better, but still it lags. You notice the lag.
Yeah. But the problem is I found out is you still cannot like compete with a native app, slickless. But it's good enough for like normal, even enterprise. Most of the time you just have a form, you input data, you do something, you show the result. That's good enough.
But even just like some of the usability patterns like on iOS, and use to swipe off the left.
Yeah, that's good enough.
Which
I actually prepared something with like Firebase. I wanted to use FeatherJS.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, but 2 days before the meetup, I couldn't set it up.
Does everyone know what Firebase is?
Firebase is just like MBAS, like mobile database as a service. No, not that, both backend as a service.
it's kind of like a live database. Like if you're connected to the same Firebase database as I am, and you make a change, it'll instantly replicate right back into my front end as well.
Like I'm not sure if this is there. You go. For example, if I go to my tasks here, don't know what this always takes longer. But if I type in my task, so this is like reconnected right away to my phone, and I don't really have to do a lot. It's just like observables and. Anyway, it's not as exciting as programming. Yeah, you can do a lot. It's like the only like Ionic is great if you only want to care about your business logic. The rest is done by Ionic. Oh yeah, maybe I can show this too. So this is the native look and feel. This is by default. And if you want, for example, this line up here without, oh yeah, right, I can show that. For example, you don't want to show, you have your platforms, like specifically for Android. You don't want to show icons, right? So you can specify that, and you can also place the bar at the bottom for only Android. Just have to refresh it. Takes so much longer now since TypeScript isn't involved.
So is it all TypeScript that they're kind of promoting? Yeah.
There's all types of, you can download JS or TypeScript. So now we have like no icons anymore, and it's at the bottom. And the same thing goes for iOS. You can basically do the same thing just for. So yeah, just doesn't look right, but I mean you can still do it.
Okay.
Anyway, okay. So yeah, this is where we come in. These are all your config properties, and I think these are outdated already. There's one, I haven't used it yet, but you can turn on or turn off if your app is production ready or not. So we'll turn off a lot of things in the background. Yeah, speaking of the icons and the styles, you only add, or you add one icon once, and then it will specify based on your operating system, it's iOS or material design. And then at the end, usually please don't use plastic bags. And thank you. Okay. Which I can, this is what I actually want to show.
Okay. All right, we'll hide this little guy. All right, so that is it for kind of the formal part of our night. I'd like to have a couple quick thank yous and just a few points of order. I don't know why this is not loading. This should be a giant Jobber logo, so just a thank you again to Jobber for the pizza.
Me too, the logo looks like
I was thinking cheese sandwiches. Sandwiches. Also a thank you to Startup Edmonton for the space and the Wi-Fi and just for being so reliable as a venue. Not all venues are, so thank you, Startup Edmonton. And also a friendly reminder, the next meetup is Thursday, May 5th, the day after Demo Camp. So if you can't remember what it is, just, I'm sure people will tell you what Demo Camp do. And last but not least, beers. We will be heading down to Mercer Tavern here. So I'd say maybe a few minutes to pack up, but if you guys want to head down there, it's just, you can go straight outside, turn right, or there is a sneaky kind of windy way through the building too, for those of you that know their way. So yeah, thank you very much for coming and hope to see you all next month.
By the way, Overhaul is it's called Overhaul Media, and it's a branding company.